I'm just going to jump right in. I wanted to make this video to share my thoughts on the event and what I think are the most interesting products and if I'm planning to get any of them. Apple started off by showcasing their new watch, which is the Apple Watch Series 8. My experience with the Apple Watch is long overdue because the last Apple Watch that I owned was actually the Series 1. Basically, it's more durable. It has the always on feature now, which I understand is available from Apple Watches Series 5 and up. Essentially has the same design, but now it also supports low power mode with the Watch OS 9 update. New bands to choose from in 3 new colors. And of course, they always have the new Hermes special edition with its own special watch face. The thing that I find interesting about the Apple Watch is in the beginning, when Apple first made the smartwatch, I thought they were trying to position it as the device that's going to replace your phone. And as the years went by, I noticed that they are basically making the Apple Watch the one accessory that you must have to really appreciate the full power of their ecosystem. So their focus on Apple Watch is all about safety and health, because one of the new features that they featured is the crash detection feature, which I thought that was really interesting. There's also this focus on women's health, which is very timely, I think. I'm really curious to see other manufacturers approach this and see if they're going to try to capture the same market. Also announced the Watch SE, which is basically the cheaper version of the Apple Watch. And this in itself is, I think, really interesting because it's obviously much more affordable, but it still supports some of the safety features that the current watch has. So if you have not tried an Apple Watch before, it's really a great product. And the only reason I stopped using my Apple Watch Series 1 is because I like analog watches and I want to rotate them. And having the Apple Watch kind of spoiled me and I just did not want to take it off my wrist. The problem with smartwatches to me is that they tend to have a shorter shelf life compared to analog watches. But as an overall experience, it was a great watch. I really loved it. So I think the Series 8 is going to be a great addition to their product line. Probably the most interesting thing for me, which is the Apple Watch Ultra. It's a more expensive Apple Watch, and this is geared towards people with, who are into extreme sports or just who are athletes, basically. People who are not like me. So triathletes, people who like to climb mountains and, dive. And this particular watch has a rugged titanium case, has sapphire crystal. It's a 49mm watch, so it's a big boy. Its screen design is flat, and I actually kind of like it. It has a second speaker with 3 microphones, which makes it easier for you to hear a person that you're talking to even when you are in a very windy environment. So the interesting thing about this is this watch is sold with cellular service. I mean, you don't have to have the cellular service, but it's built right into it. So the idea is that that's the only thing that you really need if you're surfing or diving and all that stuff, which I think is really cool. It does have a special action button that you can customize depending on your sport. It can even be submerged up to 130 feet. It even has a special watch face called night mode, which is actually really cool. The thing that surprised me the most about this product is its pricing. So in the beginning, I already kind of predicted that the Apple Watch Pro, I thought they were going to call it the Pro, was going to be priced just about as expensive as their newest iPhone. Well, I'm actually not wrong, but I was kind of surprised to see that the price tag for this is $800, which is the price of a regular iPhone, not the Pro model. So I thought this is kind of reasonable and, for what it actually is. So really interested in it. I love the design. It's huge. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't, but very much interested in this watch. The next thing they announced is the Airpods Pros, the new one, which disappointingly has the same look, exactly the same look. The main feature is that it has a new chip, which is the H2 chip, which supports personalized spatial audio. Now, if you have not tried spatial audio, it actually is really something special. But once you try it, it kind of changes the experience. I'm curious to see how personalized spatial audio works, because obviously sound is very subjective. But so far, what I experienced from what they currently offer is actually really positive. The other thing that they featured about this new AirPods Pro is the improved active noise cancellation. Now, the AirPods Pros, being so little, already has very impressive active noise cancellation. This one says is twice as good. So I'm really, really curious as to how well this gets rid of unwanted noise. So maybe one of these days I'm gonna have to try it out. Other features, it has a touch control feature, which I'm not a big fan of because to me, the short stem of the AirPods Pros make it a little bit more attractive design-wise. And I like the fact that you have to squeeze it and it has this haptic feedback, which makes it a little bit easier to control. Swiping to control the volume, I'm not really sure how that's gonna work, but personally, I'm not really a big fan, so I think that's more of a gimmick. There is a new feature where you can actually find the case in case you miss it using your iPhone, so you can kind of track it. And to help you do that, the AirPods Pro's case now has speakers, so it actually can make some sounds if you're trying to look for it, and also just for prompts or anything like that. Speaking of the case, it also supports MagSafe charging or any other Qi supported wireless chargers. Also, it has a hook now for a lanyard, so I'm pretty sure like a lot of the third-party companies who make cases for the AirPods Pros are going to be slightly annoyed because now they can't really sell a case that with the point being having a lanyard. I don't know, I'm just guessing. I mean, obviously people are still going to want to have a case for their case because that's just how people are. So moving on to the star of the show, which is the iPhone 14. Well, I shouldn't say the star of the show because there's actually something after that, but the iPhone 14 is basically an iPhone 13 Pro minus one camera lens. So it still uses the same A15 Bionic chip, which is very impressive. It does have some improvements. So you have the iPhone 14 and then the iPhone 14 Plus. It has 1200 nits of peak brightness, same design, ceramic shield, 5 colors, better stabilization for the camera from my understanding. But probably the biggest thing that differentiates this from the previous model is that it is now a phone that has eSIM, basically a phone that does not require an actual SIM card. Also, it now supports satellite connectivity. Don't get too excited about that because that's still a little spotty. There are a lot of limitations. There can be no obstruction in the sky if you want to use it, and you have to be in the right spot to actually track the satellite. But to have something that can possibly connect to a satellite when you're in a remote location or if there's an emergency, I think that's really, really cool. Again, Apple focusing more on health and safety, that's a really interesting move. And I think actually a really smart one that really separates them from the rest of the market. Moving on to the actual star of the event, which is the iPhone 14 Pro. The basics are it has a new chip, which is the A16 chip, which uses 20% less power compared to the A15, which translates to better battery life. It has a 48 megapixel camera with a 65% larger sensor compared to the iPhone 13 Pro, which also translates to better low light performance. It also supports satellite connectivity, also eSIM. It has a new true depth camera, which is the front facing camera, although not necessarily a new hardware. I don't think so, because from my understanding, it's really just a software. Kind of disappointed because I really wanted to have a higher quality front-facing camera since a lot of creators nowadays simply use their phones to create content. The new lock screen supports always on display that also dims 4 new colors, which is space black, silver, gold, and purple. But the main headline for this new phone is the notch, or should I say the pillbox. So they got rid of the notch. But I love the fact that instead of getting rid of it completely, they doubled down. So Apple decided to make that pillbox into this very dynamic and interactive notification thingy-majig. I don't even know what to call it, but they do call it the dynamic island because it expands, it shrinks, it changes shapes, it divides itself. It's really, really cool. It just makes you feel like you're holding a phone from the future. It's really cool. It's kind of dumb because it doesn't really offer anything other than a different experience. But sometimes, I mean, actually, if I'm being honest, the main selling point of Apple products is the overall experience. They've been really good at providing a unique and very wonderful experience throughout their entire ecosystem. So I think this is a smart move, and I think caught everyone by surprise. Such a brilliant move. Instead of backing away, they just doubled down and they made something really creative and unique. That's the bulk of it. Now going back to the question of if I'm getting anything. Well, as attractive as the iPhone 14 Pro is, I mean, I might still get it just so I can test it out and really see for myself how the dynamic island really works and what the experience is going to be like. I'm not really that interested in the other features because I think the iPhone 13 Pro that I currently own is a very, very capable phone already. I think the thing that I'm really most interested about and really for sure going to get is the Apple Watch Ultra. Now, if you ask me if I am a triathlete or if I do climbing or diving or whatever, I mean, all I'm going to say is that I climb stairs every day and I take long showers. And that's the only reason I need to get the Apple Watch Ultra because I think it's really unique. I've never seen a watch like it. And it's a huge watch, which I might hate. I'm not really sure, but I have to try it at the very least. Having a watch that kind of does everything, that looks, very substantial, it looks like it's built well. Definitely want to test it out. So my thing was, am I finally gonna get an Apple Watch that is newer than the Series 1? So it was either a Series 8 or the Ultra. And I think I'm gonna decide with the Ultra. I'll keep you guys updated as soon as I actually get one, and I'm obviously going to make a review and share my experience here on YouTube. But that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also hit that bell icon so you'll be notified if I have a new video out. Let me know down below in the comments what the most interesting product was for you during the whole presentation, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Take care.